Yo, what's up? I am Mephiston, and today I'm going to discuss the 7 most versatile units in Europa Barbarorum. In my personal opinion, of course. Spoiler alert, there is not a single one of these units in this screen. So let's see. Number 7, Thraikioi Peltastai, Thracian Peltasts. In Hellenistic armies, skirmishers have a fundamental role, and among them, peltasts cover a very important tactical role. And Thracian peltasts are the first and the best peltasts, period. Basically, they carry so many javelins, and they are so useful in filling so many tactical roles because they can punish many unarmored opponents. They can try to charge them and engage them in hand-to-hand, but they are so deadly with their many accurate javelins, and most importantly, they can defeat elephants with extreme ease. They can also fight competently hand-to-hand. They can stand their own, actually, but of course they're decent. They are not exceptionally hand-to-hand, so beware of that. Coming to their shortcomings, well, they're peltasts, they're skirmishers, they're not heavy infantry. They have a decent shield and an okay armor, but they're not extremely resilient to arrows. So peppering them with long-range skirmishers, with archers, is usually quite effective. And secondly, since they are skirmishers, they are quite vulnerable to cavalry. So if you see a cavalry charging coming, well, it's better to hide your peltasts. And especially your Thracian peltasts, because swords are not going to carry you anywhere against cavalry. Number 6, Thureophoroi, the basic Hellenic spearmen. Well, you probably already know these guys. They come in different flavors. They are so common and so widespread that you probably already used them and fought them. Both the standard Hellenic version and the Illyrian version are quite decent as infantry fighters because they are mobile, they are quite well armored, they have a big shield, they're decent spearmen. Of course, what they excel at is at fighting cavalry. They carry javelins, which is a plus, but they do not really need javelins to fight cavalry. They can absolutely destroy any cavalry contingent who is not charging them from the back and with a lot of numbers. So use them against cavalry and they will behave really well. Number 5, Teceitos, Celtic Axemen. Teceitos are probably one of the most important components of Celtic armies, together with light and medium longswordsmen. They should be everywhere in Celtic armies because there's just so many of them in a single unit, and they have javelins, they have a high charge, they have an armor-piercing axe, and this basically means that they can punch a lot above their weight. They're especially excellent in flanking maneuvers, probably best when combined with other forms of infantry. But if they can flank the enemy formation and then quickly charge in, they can soften them with javelins and then come in hand to hand, and they just keep coming. It's insane how determined they are, even though they do not have, of course, the best discipline or training or morale. But they are especially deadly against heavy infantry. Their shortcoming mainly is the fact that even if they're axemen, so they're well suited in fighting heavy infantry, still they're medium infantry. They're not that well armored, they do not have that great morale, so they will still lose in 1-to-1 against heavy infantry. So they can punch above their weight, but not too much. Number 4, Toxotai Kretikoi, the machine guns, Cretan archers. These are, I think that these are probably probably one of the most popular units ever in Europa Barbarorum. Cretan archers are one of the best archers in the game. Since they have good armor, they can shoot very accurately. They have so many arrows that can punish light opponents. They have a shield as well, so in missile duels they're pretty decent. And they're pretty decent in hand-to-hand as well. They can fight competently and defeat light opponents. Of course, again, as with Thraikioi Peltastai, they're skirmishers, so do not expect that much from them in hand-to-hand, especially against cavalry. Cavalry is their number one enemy, probably. Number 3, Neitos, the Celtic heavy swordsman. Oh boy, here we are reaching the top of the ladder, really. And there's basically nothing not to love about these guys. High charge, heavy armor, big shield, long swords, high morale, good discipline. They can destroy most infantry in the game. Just with one charge and a bit of melee. They're so great. They also carry javelins. And if I had to find a weakness in them, which is not really easy, is probably heavy cavalry. They do not really like getting charged, and they do not have a spear, so heavy cavalry kind of does a number on them, but still, they're pretty strong. Number 2, Daha Riders. I'm not going to pronounce that name. Yeah, basically I chose Daha Riders, but I could have chosen any other light horse archer, because horse archers are so strong and versatile as well. They do not have the best armor or the best morale, but they're also pretty cheap and numerous as well, because of the fact they do not have great armor and great morale. And most importantly, they can rain down a ton of arrows over the course of an entire battle, because they have so many ammunitions. They can shoot while moving, which is pretty decent. Do not underestimate this opportunity. And they can destroy many units. Unarmored units get completely butchered by horse archers. They're pretty great in missile duels. And they can pick off valuable targets as well. I chose Daha Riders among all light horse archers for a specific reason. Because they are available quite widely in the Europa Barbarorum map, and also because they carry spears, underhand spears, which are pretty great for charges. Indeed, if they run in the back of the enemy formation, they can charge the engaged infantry of the opponent, and they can do a number. Just don't leave them stuck in melee, because they're not great in that. And finally, number 1, Roman heavy infantry. Really, pick one. It's basically the same. The Romans are probably the most versatile, at least in my opinion, the most versatile infantry in the game. Even if you pick pre-Marian Rome, Principes and Hastati are pretty great, and post-Marian legionaries are just insane. They have Pila, which are excellent ranged weapons that can destroy light and heavy infantry alike. They're also heavily armored. They have good attack, good numbers, good discipline, good morale. They can hold their own against most infantry. They can even fight cavalry pretty decently, provided that they don't get charged too much. They also have their tactics against archers, which is, of course, the testudo. I think the testudo gives a penalty in attack, something like -5 attack, but it gives a huge boost in defense. I think it's like +10 defense, which basically means that these guys are completely impervious to arrows. If you place your units on the battlefield and click to Studo, well, there is no archer in the game that can touch your heavy infantry. Also, you can deploy your men in the quincunx formation, which means basically that you are supporting your first line with your second line as well. You can combine different layers of men with also mutual support by pila shooting in the flanks of the enemy. It's just so great and so versatile, which is of course extremely historical. And if you want to find one shortcoming of Roman infantry, well, the fact that they are not superhumans, they're just good trained heavy infantry. So do not stick them against elite infantry and expect them to win. So that's it for today. That's my list of top 7 most versatile infantry in Europa Barbarorum. And see you next time.